Saturday, January 2nd, 2016. Derek Davis here with Rob Vino, sportsbettingtoday.us, and Rob Vino Sports. Rob, 4 games on the college football docket today. Let's go with the second game of the afternoon here. Game 275, 276, Kansas State and Arkansas. 3:20 p.m. kickoff Eastern from the Liberty Bowl. Game played in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, a bad weather site, as we know, Rob. This game, though, doesn't look like it should have any problem. Just partly cloudy. Winds 7 to 8 miles per hour from the southwest. Game in the high 40s, low 50s. Should be a nice afternoon for football there in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. Arkansas minus 12.5. In this one, Rob, total of 56.5. Game open at Arkansas minus 11 and 59.5. Injury-wise, quarterback Joe Huebner probable today for the Wildcats. As far as Arkansas, they're a little dinged up, especially wide receiver. Dominique Reed, Eric Hawkins are both questionable today. Of course, Keon Hatcher is out for the season. Tight end Jack Krause as well. Arkansas, Rob, stumbled out of the gate there. Easy for me to say. Winners only one of their first four, 1-3 straight up, and 1-3 against the spread, and then got hot. Beat Tennessee. Actually didn't get hot. Beat Tennessee, then lost again to Alabama, and then got hot. Won 4 in a row. Winners 5 of the last 6. Only lost to Mississippi State. Kansas State, as usual, tuned up on some non-contenders early, other than Louisiana Tech. Kind of a nice win there for the Wildcats. But then once they got into the meat of their schedule, they lost a bunch. They ended up losing 6 in a row in the middle of the season. During that time, they were only 2-4 against the spread. But true Bill Snyder fashion, finished strong. Beat Iowa State, beat Kansas, beat West Virginia. Kind of the jewel of a very small crown there. Went 3-1 against the spread, or 2-1 against the spread rather in the last 3 games. Kansas State, very sound always, Rob, but Arkansas has more of the horses here. And as we've seen, the Big 12 defensively in this bowl season leaves a lot to be desired. Kansas State is no exception. But Kansas State can't score. Josh Huebner, a fine quarterback, really, Rob, especially in this offense. He's difficult to defend. Arkansas is very susceptible to giving up big plays and giving up a lot of yards, a lot of points. So I look for this one to be maybe a little closer than the odds makers think. But talent-wise, Rob, Arkansas kind of head and shoulders above Kansas State here, and that has a tendency to show itself in the bowl season. However, Arkansas is not easy to figure out, huh, Rob?
And what you'll hear, Derek, usually in any Kansas State bowl game is Bill Snyder with time to prepare. Bill Snyder and his fundamentally sound football team will hang in there, especially in a game where they're a double-digit underdog. All the accolades and all the old axioms for head coach Bill Snyder start coming out. Still probably all ring true. However, at some point in time, talent dictates what happens, and I wonder if Kansas State has the talent to stay here with Arkansas. The point spread now up to 12.5. Power ratings made this game only Arkansas minus 10. If you want to include a little more, bump it up a little bit for home field advantage for Arkansas. You can't give them a true home field, but you can give them a partial home field, maybe because this game is played in Memphis. Arkansas will travel well. But for K-State, it'll be a tough task defensively. And I've said this all season long. I'll say it again. The hiring of offensive coordinator Dan Enos, former head coach of Central Michigan, in my opinion, back at the start of the season, was just a brilliant move by Arkansas and head coach Brett Bielema. What we've seen, the transformation that we've seen in the Arkansas offense this season has been drastic and very positive for Arkansas. You know, you think of a Brett Bielema team, and immediately you look at the rushing game and figure that the rushing game carries the load for his offenses. But in this case this year with Dan Enos, more of a spread style offensive coordinator. He has found a way to incorporate the play action passing game into the Arkansas offense, and quarterback Brandon Allen has been the beneficiary of that so far this season. Heading into today, Arkansas's thrown for 264, almost 264 and a half yards per game, and they've rushed for 192 and a half yards per game. So great balance, but you can see Arkansas has been able to throw the football. The threat of the running game with Alex Collins behind that powerful offensive line forces defenses to commit to stopping it, and any play action draws guys up, draws defenses up, and Brandon Allen's been able to go over top or even into the intermediate range and produce big plays for the Arkansas offense. So tall task for Kansas State, a defense which, on the season hasn't been all that good. It's not vintage Kansas State here this year. K-State's allowed 445 total yards per game. They've allowed almost 64% completions and 262 through the air. You compound that with the fact that they allow 183 on the ground. And you can see Arkansas should have a real good day offensively. SEC offenses in a lot of cases this bowl season have been able to overpower other conferences' defenses. And you mentioned it earlier, the Big 12 defenses have not held up so far. And we're almost through the entire bowl season at this point, Derek. So I think Arkansas will have an especially big day offensively in this one. Now, for Kansas State to win this game, you've got to outscore Arkansas. To stay within 12 and a half, you have to score a real good share of points here, and they can do it. Two-headed quarterback could cause Arkansas a little bit of trouble. You mentioned Joe Hubner will play in this one, but K-State will rotate two quarterbacks. K-State's been able to find some offensive continuity toward the end of the season. Arkansas is not real vulnerable to the ground attack, but boy, they are vulnerable through the air. And Kansas State, while somewhat methodical, I'm sure, with a month to game plan for this, can come up with some creative ways to throw the football against Arkansas here and maybe back them off a little bit and then be able to run off of the passing game for K-State. Hey, the pass game hasn't been extremely strong this year. However, like I say, you give Bill Snyder a month to prepare. Arkansas, you add to that the deficiency in the Arkansas pass defense, and I think you can get some big plays here for Kansas State. So I'd expect them to score a little bit too. In all, if you were to summarize this one, I do believe Arkansas's 2 touchdowns better than Kansas State here. I think Arkansas will probably find their way into the 40s in this contest. For K-State, you got to find your way to 31 points, I think, to be able to cover. So I would lean toward Arkansas here, minus the 12 and a half. It still sits under the key of 13. As long as it doesn't hit 13, I think you're okay. So that would be my lean here, Arkansas minus the 12 and a half.